KULR stock is one of those companies that has been growing exponentially fast, but also just recently massively pulled back with the rest of the market. They have efficient battery tech for space exploration, but they're also taking on that Michael Saylor strategy with the Bitcoin, which is quite interesting. If you look at their stock recently, I guess we have this previously mapped out support from basically all the way through December until today, where it has kind of stabilized a little bit from left to right. We were trading this morning CTM inside of Stockmate, and when we were looking at the markets, if you guys want to watch me trade live, it's that second link down below. And essentially, we're looking at the whole market, and one of the companies that started to recover today out of the quantum, out of the AI, but now in the space tech is KULR stock. We started to see it push up from this $1.10 range, and now it's testing that 200-day moving average. You guys see this moving average, this green line? Maybe I can make it a little bit thicker. Let's see, let's go 2 pixels. How's that? So you see that green line? A lot of times it's going to act as a support if it's bullish and act as a resistance if it's bearish. It's that 200-day moving average. And just recently, it's starting to retest that 200-day moving average, even break above it a little bit here when we take a look at this recovery today. It's up about 5% so far. It dropped as low as $1 back here on March 10th. So that was what, Monday? And we see a recovery of 23% over the past day and 23 hours. So basically 2 days. And as it's approaching this 200-day moving average, you have to ask yourself, are you positioned to profit if you buy right now? Or is this maybe a trap that you could potentially see it sell back down? That's a really good question. And there are some things I'd look at for more confirmation. 2 things that I'm looking at, 3 things that I'm really looking at actually. The first is the overall growth of the market. We're seeing this battery tech market for KULR grow, and there's a lot of demand for the market that they're in. Space tech has seen a big sell-off. You see Rocket Lab, one of the leaders, down to $18 a share. They made a really great run to $30, but they sold down. So KULR stock is also in that same kind of industry. They have a rideshare mission with SpaceX. They are partnered with NASA. They have multiple partnerships with, they also have some different partnerships like with Navy and Army as well. So they're well positioned as a company with their partnerships. But here's the thing. This is the second thing we look at, which is the analysis. When we look at the analysis, it's A, B, and C. The first A is going to be this chart. Now we're going to get into the financials, which is actually B, but the chart here is really important to look at because right now, if it's at this 200-day moving average, this is a previous support right here at $1 and essentially 30 cents. It's kind of a range. And you can see that it did get rejected last time it tried to push up. And it has this somewhat downtrend, right? It's still struggling a little bit to break out. Now, the other thing is with this recent push up, it entered this level of consolidation that we saw happen for about a week and a half. So it could potentially sell down. If you look on the RSI, the MACD, it's possible that we see it sell down here first to around $1.15 before we see it break out above this 200-day moving average. Now, if there's enough momentum, that news from Ukraine that we're going to be putting more money into, or maybe that we're starting to reach a few close to deals with the tariffs. We'll see how long that stuff takes to develop. But if we see more investor sentiment start to become more bullish and positive, and the market heats up a little bit, then we could see it possibly break above here. If it breaks above this 200-day moving average, then we're kind of off to the races because this is a level that if it breaks above, it's then going to most likely validate that $1.30 as a support. Now, B in the analysis is, of course, the financials. Things that are a little high risk, high reward types of moves are when companies allocate massive amounts of their cash to Bitcoin. And KULR stock is one of the companies that has done that. They've been making waves. If you look at their company, they have some good things going for them, like this is actually C in our analysis. Before we even get into those financials, you can see the partnerships that they have. So if let's try and refresh one more time. There you go. They're catering to aerospace. They got some thermal management solutions there. Department of Defense. They got consumer and commercial different partnerships. So Lockheed Martin is one. And this is where it gets interesting. So we can get into the news in a second, but when you look at their recent move with Bitcoin, they are taking that high risk strategy. If we go to their news, you can see that the company has allocated a massive amount of cash into Bitcoin. So 90% of their surplus cash, about $60 million. They're taking the Michael Saylor approach. So take a look here at their news. You go to announcements. So Bitcoin, it's not just kind of let's say a digital asset, but in their approach, it really is a store of value for the future. The kind of Michael Saylor strategy that they're taking, and the CEO, Michael Moe of KULR Stock, met with Michael Saylor, and that was part of why he's taken this approach with putting all of their money into Bitcoin. You can see some of their purchases throughout the last few months. There's $8 million, there's $42 million, or increasing to $42 million. And then their first kind of Bitcoin treasury, they have an average purchase price of around $98,000 of Bitcoin. And again, not looking too good, because right now, Bitcoin last close was 83,000. So that's down quite a bit. Actually, over 10% of their money has kind of gone away by putting their money in Bitcoin. Now, they haven't sold. And the core part of this treasury strategy is that they're basically, all their financials are relying on the cash appreciating or cash depreciating, Bitcoin appreciating. And this is something that they're trying to implement. A lot of companies are implementing it, and risk looks very high. Reward could be huge if Bitcoin has another run up to, let's say, 125,000 or something like that. And it's just classic high risk. You already have them in a department. I guess department space is a little bit less of a risk because government funding isn't really slowing up in the departments that they're in. But to go ahead and put themselves in that position of investing heavily in Bitcoin, that's something that you gotta analyze and take with a grain of salt, because their financials, if we take a look at the financials for KULR stock, this is where it gets interesting, right? Their financials look pretty good. They were beating their earnings per share. If you look back to March, their net income was up 24%, then 7%, and their net income as of 2024 in quarter 3, they got earnings coming on the 27th, but their revenue was up 3.2 million year over year, or 3.2 million a quarter, and 63% increase in their net income year over year. So KULR stock's approach and how much money they're making is not bad for that $287 million market cap. Not too bad. Now, the kind of worrying thing, and that what people are looking at, is that obviously there's a lot of high risk with that play to invest in Bitcoin. Now, it might be that high stakes play that some people are looking for, and it might be exactly what they need to have an edge as a small company. And those are the types of edges that sometimes can pay off big, or sometimes can, bankrupt a company. So we'll see what happens. But I do see this recovery here as promising. We really like their overall tech, but not too happy with the risk as far as medium to long-term investments. It's looking risky. Here, though, if it bounces at this level, we could see some ranges. If, let's say that it makes it to this previous consolidation zone, that'd be about a 41% increase. This is telling to see how it reacts at this 200-day moving average. If it breaks above, that's good for them and good for holders, but also will indicate maybe a bullish pattern that we can trade consistently. And that's something we'll be watching out for. I could imagine this break above 130 would be indication that we could see more of a bullish momentum upwards. So we'll be watching closely. And that's also where StockMate comes in, guys. If you use the code LOVETHERIDE. We're on the ride to 100,000 followers. And also we have the StockMate sale going for this market cycle. You see the market pull back, starting to push up. It's a ride and we're on it. So if you use the code LOVETHERIDE, you can get $175 off and watch me trade live Monday through Friday at market open. And if you're ready to take on some risks, some high reward opportunities like KULR, hey, I'll be with you at market open if you have any questions, guiding you through it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. And again, comment your thoughts on KULR down below. What you think about that 3-point analysis with there. What do you think about the news, the financials, or the chart itself? Feel free to comment below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.